Hey Treaders, welcome back or welcome to Power to Tread Global. My name is Tara Nashay and it's story time. So let's clock it. But not too much, not too much. So y'all, I want to take you back to the year 1984 when I first stepped foot into the Black church. This year is significant because I was 11 years old, 11 and a half years old, and I had already experienced so much trauma and unnecessary pain and chaos by this point that I needed Jesus. Do you hear me? So my mom decided to take me to church. And I don't think that she ran out of options. I think that she just knew that Jesus was the option. And so let's go back a little bit so that I can qualify my timeline. I was about 2.5 when I experienced my first situation with being touched inappropriately. I also remember that feeling that I had when I came in contact with a straight up demon, with a spirit that was on the inside of someone human. And so this 2.5-year-old, 3-year-old kid or toddler was being touched inappropriately. And so this molestation went on for some years. But by the time I was around 8 years old, I was raped, like fully penetrated. And at that point, I cannot even tell you. I don't even remember. I do know that level of trauma is too much for a child to actually take in physically. And so it was stored all the way in the back of my head every time I had to encounter this spirit and go through all over again the violation of who I was and who God has designed me to be, for it to just be taken from me without my consent. That was something that no young girl should ever have to experience. And so I had to experience that. And so by the time I was 11, I was going through like a lot of panic attacks. I was going through a lot of rebellion. I was already encountering fear. I was encountering real demonic forces that would torment me every single day. I already understood evil, but I didn't have a name for it, if that makes sense. And so by this time, my aunt, who used to always come to our home, and she would want us to, scratch her hair, and, like she would give us some money to, scratch out her dandruff and all that kind of stuff. And I enjoyed this aunt. She was so fun. She still is very fun. But she would, when she would be ready to leave, I would always cry and want to go with her. And so she would always be like, oh, okay, yeah, come on. She can go with me. Like she can just go. And I'll bring her back in the morning. And so my aunt, this particular night, I went with her. We get there and her boyfriend is in the home. And my aunt had to work the next day. So she had to work, so she couldn't take me back like she promised. So I ended up having to be there until she got off of work, but I was there with her boyfriend. So this boyfriend called me in their room. And I never forget him calling me in the room. And I'm walking down the hallway to this room at 11 years old, 11 and a half. And I get to the hallway and I'm scared to death because I feel what I feel, but I don't understand what, how to express this feeling. But all I know is that this grown man is asking me to come into the room. I get in the room, and as soon as I get in the room, he's smoking weed, and they called it reefer back then. So he's smoking reefer. You can smell whatever this smell is. You see the smoke coming from it. And the TV is on. I never forget The Price is Right is on. And I will never forget it, y'all. Some stuff, it literally stays so far embedded in your mind that you can't even get out of the thought if you wanted to. But it was so lodged in my mind that unfortunately I had to live through that trauma all of these years. I'm 53 almost, y'all. And last year is the first time that I was able to actually open my mouth and say, this is what happened to me. And so don't mind me if you see me, you know, a couple of tears may fall, or the emotional side of the experience might come out. I have so many experiences, y'all. It's not, I'm talking about sanctuary predators, but I have to go into the historical predators in my life in order to get there. So just bear with me. And unfortunately, it did already bring up some emotion, because just me walking into that room and hearing The Price is Right, and just the innocence of me walking into the room, but me knowing what I'm walking into, because I was already, I already had discernment from God, if that makes sense. And so, but I didn't know that I couldn't tell him, no, I don't want to come into your room, or no, just no. I went into this room. He's smoking this, you know, reefer, and he tells me to smoke some with him. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know why he's asking me to smoke this. And I remember putting it to my mouth, and I, you know, take some in, and I'm like, you know, like, what is this? I don't remember our conversation, but I remember him smoking more of it and then giving me more of it. And by this time, he makes me get on the bed with him, and he's laying next to me, with my back towards the door, the outside door. So I'm facing the door, but he's behind me. And you can only imagine what took place next. All that I remember from that encounter is me waking up screaming still, and like literally just panic, the panic that was over me. I did not know how to get out of this situation. So let me just breathe for a second. I'll be right back. So y'all, I remember running out of this room and going into the room that I was in. And I was so upset. And at that point, we didn't have cell phones. We couldn't call our mom, any of those kind of things. So y'all, I remember just the panic that I was in, and the level of fear, and it sent me into such the trauma that I felt, the pain that I was in physically, and the pain that I was in mentally. I remember that it literally took me out completely again. I went back out and I went to sleep. I remember my aunt waking me up, and when she woke me up, she's like, "Oh, Tara, da 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 da," and she's like saying hi and all that kind of stuff. And I get up. She said, "I can't believe you still sleep." And y'all, I remember that was a school day too, because she was like, "Oh, you know, I was supposed to go to school, but she didn't have a way to get me there, and she had to work. So I ended up staying home." You know how the enemy will set you up to, you know, he will make sure that you're at the perfect place at the perfect time when he's trying to interrupt your destiny. And y'all, my aunt woke me up, and I got out of the bed, and I remember her saying, "Oh my God." And, you know, she was startled. Y'all, when I looked down, the bed was full of blood. And my aunt was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God." She was so excited. And I didn't understand what the excitement was about. Number one, I didn't even know about a period. Number two, why are you excited? Like, do you understand what I literally just went through today? I knew that I couldn't talk about it, but I only knew that because of my previous experience with being preyed on. And so, guys, she was excited and I was terrified. And this blood, it was so much blood. And I remember her taking me in the bathroom, cleaning me up, and trying to show me how to use a pad because she thought it was my cycle.